Dear friends, today, the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time, our readings invite us to develop the virtue of humility as Christians. And as followers of Jesus, we need humility more than any other thing. Humility is as important to us as a radar is important to an aircraft. You know, an aircraft can never go anywhere without being on a radar. So as Christians, we cannot also get into the glory of God without being humble. That is why Jesus says, He is a model. He says, learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart. Humility is important to us as Christians because humility leads us to discover the honest truth of our souls and the honest truth of our soul. Why is it so important? Because humility will help you to discover your strengths and your limitations. And it will help you to discover the need of God in your life. One thing that we have to recognize as human is that we are not perfect, and we will not be perfect, and we are not angels. But it takes humility for us to know that there are things we are capable of achieving, and there are things that we need to allow God to intervene. You know, there are so many people in this world who have been gifted with intelligence and smartness. They are able to invent, and they don't even see the sense of God in their lives. They think that they are all in all. But no matter how smart, how intelligent we are, it takes humility to know that our knowledge is limited. You know, the book of Sirach in our first reading says, my child, conduct your affairs in humility, and things that are beyond you, surrender to God. Do not seek not. You know, if you think that you are all in all, and you think that everything must be under your control, and you think and feel that you should be able to solve every human problem, that is where sometimes we get frustrated. But sometimes it just takes humility for you to ask and say, hey, can you help me figure this out? Can you help me to discover how this works? But sometimes, instead for us to be humble and to ask, we keep struggling and struggling to the point that we get frustrated and we get depressed and we give up and we mess up with our lives. Today, I want you to know that we all need to be humble. Let humility lead you to become honest and sincere with yourself by knowing your limits and knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses and knowing the things that you are capable of achieving, and also recognize the need of God in your life. Learn from Jesus. He was God. As the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 8 tells us, but he humbled himself and became man. And in his human form, Jesus needed help and called people to support his ministry. So if Jesus was not ashamed to ask for help, why are you ashamed to seek for help? Why does it bother you to ask people to help you to figure out things? Don't get frustrated with life because you are not all in all. When we talk about humility, you may be tempted to think that, I'm humble. I want you to run a test of humility. If you want to know whether you are humble, run this test. As a child in the family, when you mess up with something and your mom or your dad points out that, hey, this is not how to behave. This is wrong. Don't do it. How do you receive that criticism or correction? Do you say, Mom, thank you for pointing out to me. I'm grateful. I'm not going to mess up again. Or you get upset. You get angry. Go into your room, strike the door, and not even want to talk to anybody. If you get upset when you are corrected, you have problem with humility. Even as an adult, imagine that dinner is ready. Your husband came from work, and your dinner is not ready, and you say, oh, honey, I'm hungry. Why is dinner late? Are you humble enough to say, oh, honey, I'm sorry. oh, I was not feeling well this afternoon and I lied down and I fell asleep and that is why dinner is late. Just get a drink, I'll be fast. Do you respond this way? Or you get upset and say, all you know is to complain, and out of anger go and even turn down the stove and say, to hell with your life. Is that how you respond to criticism? As a man, probably you are smoking and drinking more and your wife is telling you, hey, honey, can you limit your smoking and your drinking? You may develop diseases and it will hurt us. When your wife says this to you, how do you receive that? How do you respond? Do you thank her that, hey, my wife, I appreciate your concern and your care for my life. I will work on myself. Or you get upset and say that, are you the one to teach me how to live my life? Are you the one who make my money for me? We all need to understand that we need correction from one another. Even when the people around you are succeeding, how do you feel about it? Do you praise the ability of others? Are you humble to recognize that others are also capable of achieving something? Dear friends, let us be humble. It is only God who can lift us up. You see the gospel reading, Jesus says when you are invited to a banquet, take a lower seat so that the guest will lift you up. Spiritually, Jesus is sending a signal to us that he is the only one who can lift us to the glory of heaven. He can lift us to the highest heavens. We need to be humble. Let us not be self-righteous in ourselves, thinking that we are the best because we come to church. We are the best because we have knowledge and intelligence. It takes the glory of God to lift you up. So let us not prize ourselves so much in our abilities and our status in life. There is this story about a doctor, a lawyer, a priest, and a young boy who took a flight one Sunday afternoon to have a view of a big city. Once they were up there, the aircraft developed a fault. So the pilot said to them, I have tried my best. We are going to go down. I have 3 parachutes, so we have to manage that. So the pilot grabbed one and said, I fly planes and I have to survive. And then he jumped out. Then the doctor says, you know how important I am in society. I take care of the sick. I need to survive. He took one, he jumped out. Then the lawyer also said, I am the smartest man among you. A lawyer, I need to survive. He grabbed one and he jumped out. Left with the priest and the young boy. Then the priest says to this teenager, take the other parachute. I have had a lot of life experiences. You are a young man. You have a brighter future. So take one and go out of the aircraft. Then the young boy smiled to the priest and said, Father, don't worry. The smartest man took my backpack. You see, sometimes when we think we are the smartest, we end up on the wrong side. Don't let your profession, don't let your status make you think that you are the best human being in this world. Jesus had all the powers. He had all the intelligence, but he networked everybody around him. He dined with the Pharisee. He was with the prostitutes. He was with the tax collectors. Let us humble ourselves and network everybody around us. The moment we think we are the smartest and we don't need God in our lives, we end up on the wrong side. Like this lawyer who thought he was smart and took a backpack. May Christ give us the spirit of humility so that by his grace and power, he will lift all of us up to the highest heavens.